In a small town where mountains guarded the horizon like silent giants lived a girl named Ava Hale. Her town was quiet, a place where the loudest sound was the ticking of the clock in the Main Street cafe. A clock everyone trusted a little too much, as if its ticking defined the rhythm of their lives. Every morning, Ava woke to the same alarm, the same view, the same expectations. Her room was decorated with posters of cities she had never seen: Tokyo, Paris, New York, places that existed only on her walls and in her dreams. A map hung above her bed, full of places she wanted to go. She would look at it every night and whisper, but someday never came. Her parents were loving people, but practical to the core, Ava's mother would say. Life is simple, don't complicate it with dreams. Her father believed the world outside was too dangerous, too unpredictable. He would warn her, a dreamer struggles more than a worker. So they tried to raise her not as a dreamer, but as a survivor. But Ava wanted more than survival. She wanted meaning. She wanted movement. She wanted to feel alive. At school, Ava was always the quiet one. She sat near the window, listening but never speaking. Teachers barely noticed her hand when she raised it. Friends came and went like passing clouds. None stayed. Sometimes she wondered if she was invisible, or if she had made herself invisible because the world scared her. Her secret escape was the old train station, a forgotten chapter of the town. It was once busy and full of life, but years passed and the trains came less frequently. Most people ignored it now, but Ava found peace there. The rusty tracks, the empty benches, the lonely rails stretching toward distant lands, they called her heart. Every weekend, she sat on the station platform watching the trains that still passed once or twice a day. She would imagine stepping onto one unknown destination, unfamiliar faces, new beginnings. And every time the train arrived, her feet would freeze. Fear had a stronger hold than dreams. One evening, her best friend, the only one she ever truly had, asked her, "What if you never take that chance?" Ava stared at the tracks and whispered, "Then this station will be my forever." Her friend sighed, "Maybe you're meant for more." Ava wanted to believe that. She wanted someone, anyone, to tell her she wasn't foolish to dream. But the world never gave her permission. Time passed. Days blurred into weeks and weeks into years. Life moved around her, but never forward for her. She started working part-time at the town library, a small place that smelled of old paper and forgotten stories. The library was rarely crowded, and most visitors came for newspapers rather than books. Ava would sit behind the desk, quietly flipping through travel magazines she hid under files, her tiny rebellion. One article changed something inside her. It was titled, "The Words Struck Her Like Lightning." She folded the page and kept it in her pocket. She read it again before sleeping, and again in the morning. That week, she had a fight with her father, the first real argument of her life. He said dreams were childish. She said fear was cruel. He blamed her unrealistic hope. She blamed his limited reality. She cried the entire night. The next morning, she didn't speak to anyone. She walked out of the house straight to the station, her sanctuary, her escape. The evening sun painted the sky orange, a sky that looked like fire and freedom. And then a train pulled in, not the usual local one. This one looked different, cleaner, brighter, almost magical. The destination board read, Ava's heart skipped a beat. Her breath felt stuck in her throat. She stood there, frozen between two forces, the life she knew and the life she could choose. The train doors slid open with a soft hiss. A gentle breeze brushed her hair forward, as if the world itself was pushing her to move. The conductor glanced at her and smiled warmly. Just 4 words. But inside those 4 words was a universe of possibilities. Ava felt her legs tremble, her fingers curled into fists. Her heartbeat thundered as if it wanted to break out of her chest. She remembered the article, "Life begins when fear ends." She remembered her friend's words. Maybe you're meant for more. She remembered the night staring at the map above her bed, wondering what the world looked like beyond her town. She took one step forward, then another, then another. And suddenly she was inside the train. The doors closed behind her. The moment the wheels began to move, Ava realized something powerful. The moment the wheels began to move, Ava realized something powerful. She wasn't just leaving home. She was leaving the version of herself that was afraid to live. For a second, fear tried to crawl back into her heart. The fear of disappointing her family, of not belonging anywhere, of failing the moment she tried. But then the train sped up, and fear struggled to keep up. Ava took a window seat. Her reflection stared back at her, a girl who looked the same. But something in her eyes had changed. The mountains that once trapped her now appeared like pillars of courage as they slipped away behind the train. The rhythmic clatter of wheels felt like a heartbeat, steady, unstoppable. She breathed deeply. For the first time, air didn't feel heavy. The train wasn't crowded. A few travelers sat scattered around. An elderly couple sharing a sandwich, a boy with headphones lost in his own world, a woman typing furiously on her laptop, and a man sketching something in a notebook, occasionally glancing at Ava. The conductor walked by and handed her a ticket. Destination, beyond no seat number, no time of arrival, just a single word of promise. Ava traced her finger over the letters. They felt unreal, like a dream she wasn't supposed to touch. The man with the sketchbook smiled at her. "First time leaving home?" he asked gently. Ava nodded. "It shows," he chuckled softly. "But that glow in your eyes means you were destined to step out." Ava looked confused. "Glow?" He pointed his pencil toward her heart. "People who finally choose themselves always shine." His words settled in her like warmth on a cold day. When he returned to drawing, Ava gazed out the window again, the town now only a memory shrinking into dusk. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Then the train slowed. A calm voice came through the speakers. "Welcome to the journey of possibilities. Trust the tracks beneath you. They lead to where you're meant to be." The train surged forward again, faster now. The scenery changed. Mountains dissolved into forests, forests into wide open fields, fields into glowing cities scattered with lights like fallen stars. Each passing moment whispered, "You're moving, you're changing, you're alive." Ava felt something she had never felt before, a fluttering hope, a wild curiosity, a hunger for everything. She reached into her pocket, pulled out the travel magazine page, and read the line once more. This time she smiled. Her phone buzzed, a message from her best friend. "Did you do it? Tell me you did it," Ava typed back. "I'm on the train. I chose more." 3 dots appeared. Then her friend replied, "I always knew you would. Go find the world, Ava. I'll be cheering for you." A tear slipped down her cheek, not of sadness, but of relief, of pride. Hours passed, she didn't notice. There was no boredom here. Every mile felt like discovering a new version of herself. Then the train slowed again, gently, unlike the station she left. A shimmering sign appeared outside. Ava stood up on unsteady legs, heart pounding, but this time with excitement rather than fear. As the doors slid open, a warm breeze swept in like an invitation. She stepped out. The air tasted different, as if possibility itself had a fragrance. Beyond wasn't like any place she'd imagined. Tall towers of glass and gleaming lights, art on every corner, music carried by the wind, and people with eyes full of stories. Ava took a deep breath. This was it, her new beginning. Suddenly someone tapped her shoulder. It was the man from the train. He handed her a small folded paper. "For courage," he said. Ava opened it. It was a sketch, her, standing at the train door, eyes shining like she held galaxies within. A message was written beneath. "Your story starts here." Ava pressed the drawing to her chest. The world was finally hers, not a poster on a wall, not a whisper to a map, not a someday that never came. This was today. This was real. She took her first step into beyond, and the universe for the first time took a step toward her too.